Buenos dias. Hello, fam. Hello, how are you doing? Happy Thursday, everybody. Jump on in. Good morning, Ash. Good morning, Joanne. I'm going to wave at you this morning. I'm going to do the wave. I figured it out. We are on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I'm so excited. This is wonderful. We're back. We're back on Instagram. Thank you, Ash. I love this dress. This is a sundress. It's really super cute. It's got a big bow on the back. You guys, how cute is it? There's a woman in town. Her name is Lillian. She's a friend of mine, and she has a boutique called the African Boutique, and she has the most beautiful clothing, and it's all like really bold colors and really good morning, Sarah. And all of the colors are bold. The cotton is really, really warm, like not warm, like soft and really high quality. And so I have so many sundresses and outfits that I have purchased from her over the years. And whenever spring comes, I get so excited because I get to wear the colors and the beautiful dresses. So thank you for joining, everybody. And I think, I got these earrings in New York, in Times Square, actually, from a vendor. So I'm feeling very colorful and excited and happy today. Good morning, Kimberly. Not that I'm not always happy. Good morning, Angelique. I love you. Good morning, everybody. Ladies, all of you who were on Ash's call last night, Uncommon Mamas, I heard it was amazing. Put it in the comments. Good morning, Christian. Let us know in the comments how the call was. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, last night, Ashley Hawkins, who is the admin assistant for Uncommon Woman, she's my right-hand woman, she led her first ever group for mothers who have children with autism. And it was so good, apparently. I'm just so excited for you, Ash. I'm just so proud of her for just stepping forward and saying, I'm just going to do it, because she saw a need. And this is so important when we see a need for something and our heart is telling us to follow through. It's a God thing, right? So I'm so happy that all of you guys, I'm just going to turn this down itsy bitsy bit. I'm so happy that all of you were on, and please spread the word. Like, this is such an important space. Not only is it supportive for the mamas, but it's also a God-led space. It's a space for women of faith. And so what's really incredible about that is that all of the women, all of these mamas who have children with autism can come together. And because they have shared values, they can pray, right? You can talk about all of the things that you're going through, and you can lean into God and each other. And that's what makes it extra special. And that's where we really plug into the power, right? That supernatural power that God provides. So the group is called Uncommon Mamas. The first call was last night, and the next one is in 2 weeks. And so if you are a mother of a child with autism, I also know that there are possibly other mamas in there who have children with other behavioral issues. I believe that she's kind of opening it up like that, but really trying to keep it focused for the most part on mothers of children with autism, because I know that that's a special group, but also it's a wide spectrum, right? So if you're interested in being part of that, go to RomyMarlowe.com and you sign up for Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. And if you put the code Uncommon10 in the coupon code when you check out, you save $10. So for $19, you have access to Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. We do 3 calls a month, plus the Uncommon Mamas, right? Plus the community. It's really powerful. And I believe so strongly in the power of community. And I love the fact that Uncommon Woman is expanding and that women who are part of the group are starting their own pods. I believe that Joy, who is, she does like the email automations and she does the digital stuff behind the scenes for Uncommon Woman. She's going to be starting a group, I believe, for women who have experienced trauma. So I think it's called Trauma Mamas, or no, Uncommon Trauma, Trauma Mamas. That's a whole other thing. But she's starting a group called Uncommon Trauma. And I believe that's going to be in June or July. And so again, a group of women, hi Joy, a group of women who have similar feelings, similar needs, similar experiences, even though your trauma might be different, remember that trauma is stored in the body. And so often women who have experienced big T trauma and little t trauma, but there are similarities in their stories. And so it's so important to surround yourself, right, with other people who have similar experiences. So I want to invite you to be part of that. When people are led through these kinds of circles, healing is quantum, because you find a safe space to share. You find a safe space to lean in, right? You're not holding it all in. You're not hiding, because you're not the only one in the room. And there's something really powerful about being surrounded by people who have really gorgeous and yet tender stories like your own. Because, of course, the really important thing to remember is that although we have these traumatic experiences, that they are part of our story. And what we learn is to turn our mess into our message, right? And so, yes, it was painful. Yes, life is challenging. Yes, we have the bumps in the road, for sure. But what we do is we heal and we rise. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today, right? So do you have your coffee? We're going to be talking about the way that God loves us. Like a mother comforts her child, so will I love you. And I'm just pulling up my notes. I pulled up the wrong one, obviously. Here we go. And that's Isaiah 66, verse 13. So this is where we are. And if we think about the week and what we've been looking at this week, we've been really focusing on how women in particular, men too, but in particular women, are programmed from a very young age to oppress their voice, to suppress their emotions, to not be too sensitive, to not be a sissy, to stop crying, right? We've often, as adult women, we are the people that others lean on. We are the people that others depend on. We are the people that pour, give, sacrifice. And then what happens is one day we wake up and we can barely pull ourselves out of bed because we're absolutely exhausted from giving so much and recognizing that, wait a minute, I haven't poured into myself. I haven't been paying attention to my own needs. And so this week, we're focusing on how when we lean into God, when we decide, when we choose to walk with Him in our healing, that we are comforted like a mother who has healthy love for her child, comforts her child. So that's where we are today. So I invite you now to light your candle, take a sip of your coffee. I'm going to light my candle. We're going to get moving. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Amy. So good to see you, sis. Light your candle. Oh, you guys, I have some exciting news. Put my candle here so I don't knock it over and burn anything. Good morning, Trini. Moose with a lion heart. Love that. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to share this out. Good morning, Trini. Well, you know what? We were on Instagram and we were on Facebook and TikTok, but I was having issues with my devices But this morning I had clarity and I tried something and it worked. So excited. So we're actually on all the same, like those, I got those in New York. They were hand beaded by this really incredible woman, this Indigenous woman. I just love them. Oh, I know, I was going to tell you my exciting news. You ready for it? You ready for it? So if you're not following Crush Coffee Co., you have to follow Crush Coffee Co., first of all. And tonight, we are the official coffee sponsors for the Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce Awards. So if you don't know what Chamber of Commerce is, it's like they have them all across Canada, the US, and they're basically like the business organization, umbrella organization in a city. And so we're part of the Chamber of Commerce here in Thunder Bay and Crush Coffee. And we are, two things are exciting. We're the official coffee sponsors for the big awards event tonight. So there's something like 500 people coming to this thing. 500. And so we're going to be giving out a lot of coffee tonight. Hot coffee and cold brew with whipped cream and sprinkles. It's so fun. But also, you guys, send us love, 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 because we've been nominated for New Business of the Year. And so how fun would it be to be there with our big, beautiful booth? And if you go to the stories on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see what we did. It's really fun. What we did was we have a rolling bar from the cafe. So we took the rolling bar that has a beautiful pink epoxy marble top on it. And all of the tables have these pink epoxied tops on them. And we brought 2 tables and some chairs in the rolling bar. And we did a big setup with flowers, and it's all got sparkly lights in it. And when the lights are down in the space, it's an older building. It's like a big hockey rink type thing. But it's such a huge event, they have to have a big space. And so when they're gonna take all of the lights down tonight, and all the lighting will be like wall lighting, and we're gonna have sparkly lights. Oh my gosh, it's going to look stunning. I am so excited. This is the biggest event that we've ever sponsored. We sponsored the Luncheon of Hope in October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we did something like 350, but this is 500. This is like really a lot of people. So I'm very excited, and I'm a little bit nervous, and we're just gonna see how it goes, right? We're just gonna keep cranking out the coffee all night. You know, I mean, the thing is that people at night, people don't drink as much coffee at nighttime, right? But it's going to be really super fun. And if you go to the stories, you'll see the jackets that I made, my business partner and I. And I was thinking that, you know what we might do? Sell. I think I'm gonna have, how would you guys feel about a whole Crush Coffee clothing line? Like, I've told you that I wanna do jean jackets and scarves. I already have the jean jackets and the scarves, right? It's a matter of just doing them. But these suit jackets, you'll see, if you go to the stories for Crush Coffee Co., especially Instagram, you'll see, it's on, oh wait, it's on I did a reel today. Anyway, I'm talking too much about this. I know it's totally off topic, but the jackets are amazing. They're like pinstriped. They're so cute. So mine is blue with white pinstripes, and my business partner's is like a white, just like slightly off-white with baby blue pinstripes. And on the back, did you guys see it? They're so cute. On the back, it says Crushing It. Should I go get it? Oh no, where's mine? You want me to show you? You want me to show you? I'm gonna go get it. One sec. I'm back. I feel like now I just have to do that, right? Okay, are you ready? This is the back. Come on, you guys. And it's fitted. Look at, this is the back. It says Crushing It. They are so amazing. And then this is the front. Right? And then this is what I'm wearing. You guys get to see. Aren't they so cute? I know, right? That was worth me running for. So this is and I'm wearing my jean onesie that I got in Atlanta under it, I think, because it's really comfy and it's got short sleeves so I won't be too hot. So what do you think? So do you guys think that we should have Crush merch like this? I think so, right? And it's got really cute little roll-ups. If you want one of these, if you want one of these, send me a message. Okay? Just DM me. I have to find the jackets because I get I have to thrift them. I know it sounds crazy and you might be grossed out. And don't, I steam it, but it's the only place I can get this kind of stuff. So I go and I find really gorgeous jackets and then I bling them out, right? They're so fun. Anyway, okay, enough of that. So if you want one, just DM me. I'm gonna start, I think I'm gonna start selling them like next week because people love them so much. I know, and I can find them all different colors. When I find a beautiful jacket, I just buy it, right? And then I'll put them up and you guys can decide if you want. Isn't that so exciting? Today's gonna be a beautiful day. Okay, let's get into the word. Okay, I have to catch my breath. All right. So this week we've been looking at the book of Isaiah, the book of Isaiah 66, verse 13. I was rewatching some of my videos. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I was saying things like Isaiah 33, verse 16, Isaiah 63, verse 3. Like I was getting it all mixed up because I wasn't looking at my notes. So it's Isaiah 66, verse 13. All right? That's the scripture that we're looking at. And it says, as a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you. So where we've been this week, just like a quick reminder, to kind of overview of what we've already talked about. And then this morning, you're going to love this. This morning, we're really focusing on healing the inner child to become an empowered woman. Does that land with anybody? Healing the inner child to become an empowered woman. This is something that I talk about in my business spaces. This is something that I talk a lot about with my one-on-one clients. By the way, I don't know if people know this, but I do one-on-one mentorship with women. Women who want to move quickly, women who are ready to go, women who don't drag their heels, women who want a closer, more powerful mentorship experience to move their businesses along, to move their relationships along, to move their lives along. So if you're somebody who's looking for some really powerful one-on-one mentorship, I've been doing one-on-one mentorship for 15 years with women. And this is one of the things that I really focus on in my one-on-ones, because that's where women open up. That's where women really dig in, because we get close and they talk to me about what's going on in their lives, really. What's going on in their marriages, really. What's going on in their businesses, really. And when that happens, we heal quicker and we move faster. And what happens when we do that? Our businesses build momentum and we rise. Because I can promise you this, what's holding you back in your business, if you're struggling, if things are hard, is that you're not showing up. There's something that you're not doing. And there's a reason under it. And that's the stuff that I do with my mentorship. That's why my mentorship is different. When women come to me for mentorship, we end up going deep into their wounds, because that's an area that I have a lot of experience supporting women in. And we clear the room, right? And when we do that, when we start looking at the pain, the patterns, the past, pain patterns past, right? When we start looking at pain's pattern and past, we're able to then expose it, give it the love it needs, and set it down, right? So this is a really important piece of mentorship. And I think it's a piece that too many mentors don't have the experience and the skill to go into. And it's so important. So if you're somebody who's serious about working on your business this year, moving forward, rising, building momentum, and having some big results this year, you can just reach out to me. You actually can't get to me for my one-on-one right now on my website because I don't have an application there. So generally what I do is I talk to women on the phone, see if it's a good fit, and we move. Okay, all of that being said, where we've been this week. So, you know, we were talking about the fact that women might look powerful from the outside, right? You have it all together. You're successful. You've got the house and the car and the friends and the husband and the great pictures of your family on social media, but behind closed doors, you feel abandoned. Behind closed doors, you feel unseen. Behind closed doors, you've been criticized and you're embodying that. Behind closed doors, you feel unsafe. Behind closed doors, you feel rejected. Behind closed doors, you feel emotionally neglected. Maybe the person that you're living with acts like you're not there. Behind closed doors, you're overly responsible or you're walking on eggshells. You're trying to make sure that everything is perfect because you don't want to rock the boat. Behind closed doors, you feel unloved, unprotected, unheard, and unseen. This is really common. Welcome everybody to the live. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure that you share this out. And what happens is that the woman that we are that feels that way is living in her little girl's wounds, right? The little girl who felt unseen. The little girl who felt unloved. The little girl who walked on eggshells. Anyone? The little girl who was parenting her parents. The little girl who grew up too fast. The little girl who was creating a safe environment for everybody else, putting her between the danger and their loved ones. And so these little girls grow up to be women. And what happens is that we overwork and we overthink and we try to have control of everything. We fear rejection, and so we overgive. We struggle with trust, and so we feel insecure. We're people pleasing because we want to be loved and we don't want to be abandoned. We feel vulnerable and we become hyper independent because of that vulnerability. And you constantly feel like you're not enough. This is the wounded girl who becomes the adult, who moves through life feeling off, feeling a little bit like, why can't I pull it together? Feeling a little bit like no matter what I do, I don't feel stronger. I still feel insecure. No matter how many times people tell me how beautiful I am, how smart I am, how wise I am, I'm still afraid. I'm still playing small. I'm still leaning back. And as a result, the things that I want, like the business that's thriving or the relationship that I really want, I'm sacrificing. I'm staying with something that's subpar. I'm staying with something that's okay. Why? Because I don't feel strong enough or worthy enough or lovable enough to have the thing that I really want. Does this resonate with anybody? Put a heart in the comments. So this is what we've been focusing on this week, right? Monday and Tuesday, we talked a lot about that. Today, we're going to focus more on how to get out of that. But I really wanted to focus on that. And I love the little palm tree emoji. So remember, we've been talking about the palm tree and how palm trees are wise, right? They go through storms and they get thrown around and they build resilience so that they can pop back up and be stronger and stand taller. And that's what we're doing here. So put a palm tree in the comments. Put a palm tree in the comments if you want to be. So you were putting a heart in the comments if what I've said has resonated. Little heart. and then put a palm tree, go back onto your phone and put a palm tree if you want to be the one that pops up stronger, if you want to be the one that builds resilience, if you want to be the one that can bend but never break. Put a palm tree in the comments if you know that you are meant to stand taller, to be higher, to feel stronger, and you're ready for that journey. And we're going to go on that journey today. Because I know that you grew up not feeling emotionally safe. I know that you grew up feeling vulnerable. I know that you grew up feeling dysregulated. I know that you grew up without healthy communication. I know that you grew up without healthy love. I know that you grew up without the tenderness. Maybe nobody hugged you. Maybe nobody touched you. Maybe nobody told you that they love you, or love was conditional. I know all of that. And you're not the only one. There are other people here today on this live, on this call, right here in this space that have experienced that. And there are also people who have walked through that and they're the palm tree standing tall. And now they're able to look back and see that they have healed themselves. So it's possible. The healing is possible. But you can't be a passive healer. You have to be an active healer. Because some of the things that we would do is we would just learn to read a room, right? Avoid conflict. Try to earn love. Try to perform. Try to suppress our emotions. Try to be strong. All of those things. But see, that's not healing, you guys. And we're here to talk about healing. That's called putting the Band-Aid on the wound and then walking around and saying, what? Nothing's wrong. Has anybody here walked around for years on end in pain, in complete, absolute, utter suffering? Yet, when people say, how are you? You say, I'm good. Thanks. When people say, can I help you? You say, no, I don't need any help. I got this. When people ask you what's wrong, you say nothing. Anyone? Because the important thing about this that you know is that the longer you do that, you realize that the greater the wound becomes. Because what happens is now you're living to protect your, do you see this? You're living to protect your wound. Did you know that? That when you do that, you're living to protect the wound. You're not allowing God to come in and help you heal. There are ways to heal, but you have to do it. It's not enough to want it, you have to do it. And so we are here to talk about that. Because God did not create you merely to survive. He created you to live whole. And when you protect a wound and you don't allow it to heal, you're not living from a whole space. You're living like a wounded warrior. You're limping around trying to cover it up. That's not the wholeness that we're talking of, right? Real power flows from a real, true, deep relationship with Jesus. That's where you're going to get your real healing power from. It's interesting when I talk to people now and they ask me about my healing journey since my mom's died, or my healing journey through some of the relationships that I've lost. And I'll say to them, you know, there was a time when my abandonment wound would have been opened up and I would have protected it, and I would have pretended that that hurt wasn't there. I would have pretended that I didn't grieve that relationship. I would have pretended that everything was fine. I would have pretended. But see, now what I do is I go into God and I say, this is really hard for me. Mother me, come in and hold me, and while I heal this wound. And I pop out on the other side whole. So yes, of course I miss my mom, but I don't agonize. I don't ache the way that people told me I would. And you know who told me I would? The people who haven't healed. The only people who say you're going to die when your mom dies, the only people that are going to say you're never going to get through that divorce, the only people that ever say, oh, this is so terrible, once I went through that, I could never live again. The only people who say those things are people who haven't healed. Don't listen to the people who haven't healed. Listen to the people who have stepped in. Listen to the people who have said, you can do this. Listen to the people that say, there's another way. Listen to the people that say, it's not all about you. You don't do this alone. You do this with God. Listen to those people, because they're the ones that are all healed up, or they're working on it. Because the inner child still speaks. The criticism will feel crushing. The rejection feels unbearable. The abandonment triggers panic. The failure feels deeply personal. If something doesn't go right, you take it so personally. Being ignored feels painful instead of saying, you know what, that's them, not me. And conflict feels unsafe. These are all signs and symptoms of unhealed wounds. And so sometimes it's not just the adult reacting. It is the wounded child within her saying, this doesn't feel safe. Many women and men, but women in particular, have not slowed down long enough to realize, I want you to write this down. Take your pen and write this in your journal. I am still bleeding from places I thought I buried. If you have a wound, if you have a pattern that keeps showing up, it's because you're bleeding from something that you thought you buried. You guys, you can't fool your soul. And you can't fool God. I remember one time I was working with a woman who had some really terrible childhood trauma. And she said, I've lived my whole life lying. She said, I would sit in rooms and I would talk to people about their childhood trauma, and I would say, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I didn't experience any of that kind of abuse. And she said, I would be sitting there lying. I was lying to myself and ultimately lying to them as well. And she said, and then one time in my 40s, I was sitting at a table full of women and they started talking about their childhood. And she said, I had a panic attack. And I didn't know where it came from. A full meltdown. She said, we called 911. The ambulance came and got me. Everybody thought I was having a heart attack. And when I got to the hospital, the nurses, when they did the triage, said, oh, you had a heart attack. You had a panic attack. You're not having a heart attack. Are you feeling any stress? And she said, no. And she said, the nurse looked at her and said, is there anything in your life that you've never dealt with? And she said she broke down and she said, yeah, my childhood. And that's where her journey began. It'll show up eventually. You might think you're okay, and then something will trigger it and it'll take you down. And that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. You don't have to wait until the bottom drops out. And we did a whole series about, the bottom not being your bottom, right? You don't have to hit rock bottom before you find God. But when you do, He's there. He's there for you. And that's when her faith journey began. Healing the inner child is not about becoming emotionally immature. It's not going back into the child. It's about allowing God to heal the younger places in you that never received proper love, proper protection, affirmation, or care. So when we go into that space, that moment in time, or those few years or several years, when we go into that, we're going in as the adult going in to love the child, to heal the child that never got healed. So we do that with God. We do that with guidance. We do that with intuition. And when God leads, we can say to that child, I'm here for you. And so is God. Because his love is perfect. My love may be imperfect because I might still criticize that little girl. I might still say, yeah, but you should have, but anyway. Or, yeah, well, sometimes you... So I'm just going to come in and get you, and I'm going to bring you to God, and I'm going to surrender the little girl inside of me or the little boy inside of me to God. And I'm going to let God comfort this child like she or he should have been comforted. That's what the scripture means. We can go in and do the child work with God. God doesn't just work with us in our adulthood. He works with all versions of us. He loves all versions of us. In fact, he was there present in that time. He knows that part of us better than we do, because sometimes we don't remember. Sometimes we block out those memories. Sometimes we can't remember what that little girl or that little boy went through. God knows. So sometimes we just have to say, here, take my precious child version of me and love her back to healing. Right? Isn't that beautiful? So God is restoring the woman beneath the survival mode, right? So this is why we're here. And I know that this might feel heavy, might feel like a lot, but the reality is this is vital work to being an empowered woman. This is vital work. Like, it's non-negotiable. We have to heal the childhood wounds because they will show up. They will get in the way of our healing. They'll get in the way of our testimony. They'll get in the way of our faith. They'll get in the way of our belief. They'll get in the way of our work. They'll get in the way of our relationships. They'll get in the way of our health. They'll get in the way of every single thing because the wound festers. Remember the bag that I talked about on Tuesday? It's like that. A woman who never heals often leads from fear. She makes decisions based on what she knows from the past, not what she wants in the future. Put a heart in the comments if you still make some decisions around money or relationships or friendships or business from your past, from fear, and not from outcomes that you want. One is reactionary and one is responsive. And so we're looking to be responsive. Responsive is, this is the outcome that I want. I talk about this in my Creating Healthy Boundaries, that we create the outcomes we want. So how do we do that? By having a situation occur, and then instead of going into a pattern, we choose a new way to deal with it because that's in alignment with what we want. Right? So for example, I was talking about the fact that I used to be a runner. Well, if you're in a relationship with a person, man or woman, and you have a conflict, if you want that relationship to continue, you can't run. Running is reactive. Responsive is, I'm going to stay even though it's uncomfortable because the outcome that I want means that I need to stay. Now, if you want the relationship to be over, you run. But you don't run if you want the relationship to continue. Because sometimes people say, I don't want to deal with a runner. And I've been there. I've lost relationships because I reacted. I didn't respond. And so we need to not lead from fear, but lead from love. A woman who never heals often tries to control everything. No, this is the way it needs to be. But the thing is, you think that because of what's happened in your past. And so you're making decisions based on the danger that's not really there, but you think it's there because it used to be there. And so you try to control everything and you become what's called a control freak. And people say, oh, I'm a control freak or I'm a neat freak. Do you realize that those are all wounds? It's not something to brag about. I know people who will not sit down with their family at dinner because they're cleaning the kitchen. Nobody has ever said on their deathbed, I wish that I cleaned more kitchens. They say, I wish I had spent more time with my family. Anything that involves obsessive is a wound. Shopping, it's a wound. Scrolling, it's a wound. It's all avoidance. It's all band-aiding what's really happening. A woman who never heals often struggles with trust, right? You didn't trust people in your past because you couldn't. When the lights went out, things went down. Or you were never loved, or nothing was consistent in your childhood. And so as a result, you have a hard time trusting. So as an adult, I need to tell you something, and this might feel a little bit tender, but I'm telling you because I want to open your eyes. It's your job to trust people, not theirs. But it's also your job to know who to trust and who's worthy of your trust. Because the reality is that if you choose people who cannot be trusted, it doesn't matter how much you trust them. They can't be trusted. But if you're in a situation, a friendship or a relationship, and you've chosen to be there, it's up to you to trust. And if you have a trust wound, it's up to you to fix it. It's not up to them. If they want to go out and watch the football game with their buddies and you feel insecure and they've never given you any reason, that's your problem. You got some stuff to work on. Right? Other people aren't responsible for our emotional health. We are. And that means healing our stuff. And it also means being discerning about who we surround ourselves with, right? That's right, Chris. Your table of trust matters. Exactly. A woman who never heals often pushes people away. This is up there with running, right? I'm feeling too vulnerable. You're seeing too much of me. I care about you too much. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to expose my wounds. I don't want you to know what's really going on. I don't want to anything with anybody. And so what do? We push them away. And we come up with all the reasons why they're not worthy of us. Now, sometimes people, we need to untie the knot, right? But we don't need to cut the cord. And pushing away is cutting the cord. If somebody's not healthy for you, step away. But here's an invitation. If you're somebody who wants friends, if you're somebody who's looking for a healthy relationship, if you're somebody who actually really wants this life that's rich and full, don't push the people away who could potentially be part of that richness. Do your work. Do your work. Double down. 10 toes down. Say, I'm going to fix my stuff because this is too good for me to let go of. Yeah, Angelique, I love that. Yeah, stop bleeding on people that never cut you. You guys, you know what's really interesting is that I'm dating this guy. I'm seeing him on Saturday. We're having a day date. Should I take a picture? Put a camera in the comments if you want us to take a picture. I think it's going to go well. I'm really excited to see him. We've been talking a lot. But here's something that I want to tell you. I did a little bit of a run. And my girlfriend talked me off the ledge. And I didn't even know what I was doing. And he was a little bit confused. And he said, I'm not really sure where this is coming from. And I said to him, I do. I just realized what I did. Little bit of a, this is really good so far. Can I find something wrong with it? You know, can I find something wrong with it? And I'm telling you this because it's so important for us to recognize our own patterns. We want something, and then when it shows up, we look for problems. Also remembering that people are imperfect, myself included. And my girlfriend was like, don't do this thing that you're doing. You don't even have answers. You don't even have, you know, anyway. So it's all good now. But I'm just telling you that because I have a wound that I don't allow to take over my life. And I shared it with him so that he knows. And that's all it takes is just, hey, you know what? I need to tell you this thing because it shows up sometimes. And if it shows up sometimes, I don't even know. It comes disguised as discernment. It comes disguised as truth. But it doesn't have any real roots. And so when I talk it out for 30 seconds to a minute, I realize that that's not really what's going on. What's really going on is I've been this hyper independent woman, and I will look for something because I have a wound. I have an abandonment wound. And so, you know, it's like sometimes I abandon myself. Okay? And so it's important for us to recognize our wounds and heal it. And I've been doing so much work on this wound. And it still shows up sometimes. But see, I stayed. This is the healing. This is how I know I've healed. Because I stayed. And so when you stay instead of run, that means, oh, okay. The wound, it's like, you guys remember that when we cut ourselves and it heals, the muscle underneath is still wounded, right? It's like I broke my leg years ago. And even though it's healed, there's still weak spots. It's the same thing. So that doesn't mean that your wound won't ever show itself. It just means that it doesn't get to pop through the surface, right? And so I just want you to remember that being healed doesn't mean it doesn't ever show up. That is in that experience, my abandonment experience is in my body. But now I don't let it pop up and ruin things. Okay, I gotta move on. Whew, this is good. You guys, this good? This is good for me too. Okay. Healed women lead differently. This is where we are now. We're coming to the end. Healed women are empowered women of God, right? So when we're healed, when we walk this journey with God, when we allow ourselves to be held, when we put it out there, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, when we allow ourselves to put it on the table because we want more in the future, we become empowered women of God. When we say, God, I'm giving this to you. This little girl, I'm going to pick her up. Look at the cute bow on this dress. Cute bow. I'm going to pick up this little girl, right? And I'm going to hold her, and I'm going to love her, and I'm going to pass her to you. And then please love her to healing, right? Comfort her like a mother would comfort her child. Heal her, love her. That's an empowered move. That's saying, I'm going to do what I can do, but I know ultimately that you're the true healer here. Empowered women of God. Number 1, I want you guys to put these in the comments because we're going to anchor these in. Anchor them in. Put your anchor in the comments. Anchor. And share this out. This message needs to be shared. Empowered women of God know who they are. What does that mean? That you don't compromise your values. What does that mean? That you stand tall. What does that mean? That you accept and love yourself. You know who you are. Your shoulders are back when you walk in a room. What's the difference between this and this? Do you feel the energy shift? One's disempowered, one's empowered. An empowered woman of God can receive love. She can receive love. I'm open for it. I'm here for it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not running from it. Love isn't evil. Because you know yourself, they build on one another. Because you know yourself, number 1, an empowered woman knows herself. She can receive love because she trusts herself with love. Do you see what I'm saying? Because one of the reasons why women don't go into relationship is because they've made bad decisions in the past. They don't trust themselves. Women have said to me, I don't trust myself. I don't even trust my inner voice. I don't trust the choices in men anymore. I don't even trust my intuition. I'm like, oh, no, your intuition probably told you to leave, but he was too cute. Or you hadn't dated somebody in a long time. Or you just needed somebody. But your intuition probably told you all kinds of stuff and you just ignored it. But an empowered woman can receive real love and she'll wait for it. I'm going to add that to it. She'll create healthy boundaries. We did a really powerful call on Girls Girl guest call a few weeks ago about creating healthy boundaries. Let me tell you that women came back to me and said, that call changed my life. Because we all need healthy boundaries, but so many of us haven't been taught because the people around us don't want us to have healthy boundaries, because when we have healthy boundaries, we operate differently. Women who are empowered and who are healed and empowered communicate honestly. They're not afraid to share their truth. They're not afraid to say yes when they say yes and no when they mean no. They trust God deeply. I'm going to give this little wounded girl to you, this version of myself, because I trust you. We don't have to control it all. The more empowered you are, the more you surrender. The more empowered you are, the more humble you are. Not meek, humble. There's a difference. We stop proving our worth. We stop trying to be more and do more for others. We stop being performative and we just go about our day. And sometimes people will say things like, wow, I didn't know that you tithe like that, or that you support these people who don't have food, or I don't, and you'll say, yeah, but I don't do it for other people. I don't do it to perform. I don't take pictures of it and put it up on social media. I just go do it because I don't need the validation. The validation is what we're seeking when we do that. Now, sometimes it's fun to say, I went and supported this community and what a great community, but it's different when every time that somebody does something like, oh, today I bought somebody a coffee. Oh, today I took somebody for lunch at Burger King who was living on the street, right? Like, yeah, you should. Yeah, good for you, because guess where that money came from? Dios, right? Like, we have to remember that we're not doing anybody a favor. We're doing what Jesus would have done. We're doing what Jesus told us we must do. Hi, Ashley from Russia. Many women are exhausted because they have been carrying life from wounded places far too long, but God is restoring us. He's restoring our softness. He's restoring our joy. He's restoring our peace. He's restoring our confidence. He's restoring our trust. He's restoring our femininity. When we are empowered, we don't have the sharp edges. We have the soft shoulders. We get to stand in our womanhood because we trust her. True empowerment is not becoming harder. It is becoming healed. Write that down. True empowerment is not becoming harder. It's becoming healed. That's an empowered woman, a healed woman, a woman who can say, I can be feminine and fierce. I can be powerful and precious, right? I can be soft and strong. I get to be compassionate and courageous. I get to be all of these things because I know who I am. I'm a woman of God, and I'm proud of her. And I've worked hard to get here. I've lived 57 years or 56 years, and it's been a journey, and I'm still standing. And that is why I get to stand here and say, I'm an empowered woman of God. You don't get to take that away. Nobody can take that from us. Nobody. You take it from yourself. You diminish it on your own, but nobody can take it away. We can give it to people, but they can't take it from us. He's restoring our emotional stability. He's restoring our rest. Healing does not make you weak, guys. It makes you free. Healing makes you free. I find it fascinating. I don't know what's with my voice today. I find it fascinating when people tell me that they don't want to do the work. They're like, yeah, I don't do that. I'm good. And they're addicted, and they're tightly wound, and they're unhappy. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their relationships. They think that healing is weak. They think that going to get a counselor or going to church or having a vulnerable conversation is a sign of weakness. It's as a lot of men are in this space. And so for all of you men that are on here, it's not weak. You know what? There's nothing hotter. There's nothing more attractive. There's nothing more magnetic than a man who's done the work. I actually find it repulsive when people aren't interested in healing their wounds. And I also don't get close to those people because they're going to bleed on me, for sure. A healed woman is powerful because she no longer needs survival to protect her. Right? Okay, we're coming up to the end. What wounds from my younger years still affect me today? I want you to think about that. What wounds from my younger years still affect me today? And then the next question is, what would change if I let those wounds close? Isaiah 66:13 says, like a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you. What would happen if you just gave it up to God and said, I'm here for it. I'm here for this journey with you. And I also know that on the other side of this journey, even though there might be some painful pieces, I might have to heal some things. I have to see the wound to heal it. I have to know where it is. But I know on the other side of that is a life that I've wanted. I get to end my story my way. What if the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years are completely different because you finally heal the wounds? How would that impact your future? How would that impact your tomorrow? How would that impact your tonight? How would it impact your relationships? Listen, God is not asking you to pretend you were never wounded. He is inviting you to let him heal what wounded you. The most powerful woman is not the woman who hides her pain best. It is the woman who allowed God to transform it. Some women become experts at surviving long before they ever learned what it felt like to be safe. They built lives out of strength, achievement, control, perfectionism, and hyper independence, while silently carrying little girl wounds into grown woman spaces. That's a big one. God never intended for you to spend your whole life performing healing instead of experiencing it. He did not call you to become emotionally numb to prove you are strong. He called you to become whole, and wholeness begins when you stop hiding the places that hurt and allow heaven to touch them. Healing is not weakness, it is warfare. A woman of God is not powerful because she feels nothing. She is powerful because she let God heal what almost broke her. You cannot build a peaceful life while constantly living from wounded places. God is not intimidated by your pain, sissy and sir. He is inviting you to stop surviving and start living healed. Hi, Elizabeth. The empowered woman of God is not the woman who never went through anything. She is the woman who refused to let the pain define her future. She is the woman who let God repair the broken places, soften the hardened places, and restore the exhausted places. She no longer leads from fear or insecurity or the need to prove herself. She knows who she is because she knows who she is. Healing changes the way you lead, love, speak, trust, and live. The strongest women are not the ones who avoid breaking. They are the ones who let God rebuild them. We bend. You do not have to stay loyal to your survival sister and brother. I know I've got some brothers here. I'm going to say that again. You do not have to stay loyal to your surviving. How many people feel loyal to their survival? Put a 1 in the comments if you have been loyal to just surviving. In fact, you say things like, I'm surviving. In fact, you say things like, this is my lot in life. In fact, you say things like, this is just who I am. You say things like, this is just how it's always been and how it's always going to be. It just seems to be like this. You have stayed loyal to your survival. No more. God in His abundant God. Do you realize that you have a kingdom waiting for you? There aren't going to be any paupers walking in those doors. You have to be spiritually wealthy. Healing is freedom. The greatest freedom of all is realizing you are no longer that little girl trying to earn love, fight for safety, or carry the weight of the world alone. With God's help, you are healing her. So the woman you are becoming can finally rise. And this month, the theme in Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, and everybody needs to get in there, is United We Rise. And the reason for that is because as women, we are healing together, we are rising together, we are growing together, we are becoming empowered women. We're not walking around little girls in women's clothing, okay? We are doing the work, and we do the work inside Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. We do the work here every morning. The difference about the sisterhood is that the conversation is 2 ways. I get to come in and support you. We get to come in and have a conversation with you. It's not just you listening to me. This is great. I love this. And thank you so much for being here. But I want to help you. And if you get into the sisterhood, we can help you. You have people that are around you who will love you. Are you ready to pray? I feel like I'm reverting backwards. It's such a battle because I yearn for my relationship with God and myself. Get in the room. Sis, get in the room. You guys have to surround yourself. You know why people revert? Because they're alone. When you are starting to feel a spiral and you're in a room with other people, you have access to them, they will pull you back up. They will literally grab you and pull you back up. This is what we talked about on the God's Girl guest call. We talked about reaching and pulling women back up. Or maybe it was last Thursday. Yeah, it was last Thursday on the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood call. Right now, if you go to romymarlowe.com and you subscribe and you get into the group, you save $10. It's $19 for the month. People spend that on coffee in a day. And in that space, you get 3 calls for the month, Uncommon Mamas, and access to women who are actually healing. The women in this community are healing. I'm watching it. And there's a really strong sisterhood. Like there's kind of a pod that's building right now in the sisterhood. And these women are becoming each other's besties. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. And everybody is welcome. But if you are isolated and alone and you don't have that, that's why you're reverting. All of a sudden, we feel seen and heard and loved and inspired and moved to heal when we're surrounded by other people. So Trini, get in there. romymarlowe.com and it pops right up. Put Uncommon 10 in the coupon code at checkout and you save $10. It'll be $19 for the month. We have a call next Thursday. And for anybody who has autistic children, you get access to that group, Uncommon Mamas, which is part of it. It's so powerful. Okay, let's pray. Hands up. Father, some of us have become strong before we ever felt safe. Some of us learned survival before love. Some of us built walls where wounds once lived. But today we invite you into those places, Lord. Heal the little girl still carrying fear, rejection, shame, abandonment, or pain. Teach us how to live loved. Teach us how to trust again. Teach us how to receive comfort. And help us become whole, empowered women of God who lead from healing instead of hurt. Amen. How was that, you guys? How do you feel? Put something in the comments. How do you feel? Do you feel reminded? I know that these calls are just the first step. But do you feel reminded that there's an opportunity for you? That there's more for you? That the wound is there, but it can heal. That's what we're working on here. That's what I do these calls for. Isaiah 66, verse 13 in my sweet pink Bible. As a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you. Amen, amen, and amen. Get into the group. Surround yourself with other believers. Surround yourself with women who are healed, women who are healing, women who want to see you heal, women who want to help you heal, women who are believers, women who will pray over you, women who will carry you, women who will be in your pocket. There are so many women on these calls who aren't in the group, and I don't get it. This is just the start. These calls are just the beginning. The real healing happens when we walk it with other people. And it says in the Bible that we got to get around other people of God every day. You guys, that's how I healed. I decided to join a church community because I needed it. And then I got into an online community because I needed it. And everywhere I look, I have people around me who are women of God, women and men of God. Everywhere I go. But let me tell you, I tap in every single day into my group and into my team and into my communities because I too need it. Okay, so what do we have coming? Next Thursday, we have a call for Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. right? So if you're not in there, like I said, go to romymarlowe.com, join, use Uncommon 10 coupon code, get in the room. What else? If you want a Crushing It jacket, send me a message, okay? I can send them over the border, no problem. Just send me a message and I'll share with you, like the cost, and I'll find you a jacket. You'll just have to trust me, because I go and I find jackets. So I'll say, like, what's your size? And let's do this thing. And I'll send it to you, and you just have to trust me. I have a good taste in this kind of stuff. And what else? Oh yeah. If you want to be part of a woman's business community that are all women of faith, if you're somebody who's building a business, if you're somebody who's a leader, if you're somebody who's wanting to grow, if you're a woman, I'm speaking to women right now in particular, a woman who's a woman of God who wants to build business and just start building relationships in all areas of your life with other women of God, get into the Crushing It Collective. You go to romymarlowe.com and you join. We meet twice a month. It's for women who are women building businesses and women who are leaders. And we talk about God, we talk about business, we talk about leadership, we talk about our wounds, we talk about all of it. So that's a business space. And then there's the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, which is more of like the personal space. I love you each so much. Have an incredible day. Wish us luck tonight. Watch our socials. Go watch Crush Coffee Co. Go like and follow on Instagram and on Facebook. And we have a TikTok thing too, but I had somebody who was doing all of our TikTok stuff, and then she moved, and now I can't log in. But we are there. Hi, June. I want to say hi to people. Joy, I love you. Hi, Jose Diaz. Thank you to my Uncommon hosts, to Alita, and to Sarah, and to Ashley, and to Joy, and to Chris. And I don't think Angel's on today, right? Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. I love all of you so much. Ash, Alita, Sarah, Joy, Chris, Angel. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna do before I go. Sorry, one more thing. We need moderators for these lives. If you're interested in being a moderator, just email info@theuncommonwoman.com. info@theuncommonwoman.com. Okay? We need moderators. We're starting to get busy, and people have schedules, and so we're looking for like 2 or 3 new moderators. You don't have to be on every day, but we need support. So if you're interested in being a moderator and getting in our team, which is actually super great, it's like another way to be connected. Email info@theuncommonwoman.com. That's Ashley, my admin assist, and she will get you started. Okay, Bead Wired might be able to help us. info@theuncommonwoman.com. Okay, I think that's it. I gotta go. I love you guys. Have an incredible day. Yay! Yay to today. Love you. Bye. Share.